Good morning. This is Judy Gula, and I am back in Alexandria, Virginia. I'm at Artistic Artifacts, and we are in the final countdown until CAFE arrives, which this whole fall season is absolutely craziness for me. We're here to talk about our Italian cultural tours, but first, of course, there's some announcements. I hope everybody's doing pretty good and has an opportunity to do a little bit of creativity and take care of yourself, and because that's important. And as we start doing our countdown for CAFE, we just wanted to let you know that there are a few openings and some things for those of you who can travel to us. So CAFE has his lecture on October 7th in the evening on Friday, very close to the store, maybe 15 minutes, and it's at a historic building called the Washington Masonic Temple, George Washington Masonic Temple. So there are still seats available. So with your purchase of your ticket, you do get a copy of his most recent book, which is Quilts in Wales. Then we have added a class that I will be teaching. That's a short one on Saturday and Sunday, working with wooden printing blocks that we've designed based on inspiration from the CAFE Collective. And we have a small box and a medium box, and the idea is to just spend some time working with stamping some prints and maybe doing some hand stitching, or having prints and going home and doing hand stitching or machine stitching. So that's what we're doing on Saturday and Sunday. There's still space open in those classes. And the CAFE workshops are closed, but we do have a very short wait list. And as the date gets closer, things shake out. So if you are interested and available for either of those classes, I think the bubbly one has a really long wait list, but the hexagon one doesn't. So if you're interested in that, send us an email, and Sharon's keeping track of when we have that. And Monday, we have a sit and sew using the new Bernina CAFE special editions, which have arrived. We're just so relieved, as Chris says. Yes, it was, we had to air freight them in. So we have the Bernina CAFE Edition 770 with module, and we have the CAFE Edition 475. We're not ready to carry them out the door yet, but we're close. We're within a week because we need to sew them in and check them and make sure everything's kosher before they go home with you. We do hope to have, for the 770 group, that a special mastery class for that, because there's some really cool, awesome prints and stitches and computerized quilting and things that all come with this machine. So not only does it have a fun face cover, but it also has fun insides. And the computerized quilting and things are just starting to explode, and they've been fabulous. So those are available. If you would like one, we need a deposit to get you in line to get a machine. So we're very excited about that. And we have lots of more fabric. Fabric keeps coming in every day. It's a lot of CAFE, but a lot of everything else. So make sure that you're getting our newsletter that lets you know as these new collections come into the store. And please, so faster, just so much faster, because there's lots of amazing fabrics that have been coming out lately. And so we want you to have every opportunity to be creative in your quilts that you make. All right. So let's see, what else? Do I have other announcements? Do I have other announcements? Can you think of anything else? No? Okay, yeah. I do have a pad of paper, but it's blank. So what else is new?
We won't have a comment sold the first week of October because we will be preoccupied.
Preoccupied, that's right. So we won't have a comment sold. We try to do 2 of them a month. We just had one on Thursday night, so there's some really fun things that are in there. You're welcome to shop it at any time, comment sold. We do suggest the app. which is go to your app store, Google or Apple, and download the app and be able to shop all the time. And so what the app does, well, it's easier to buy on the app, which is really great for us. But it also allows you to flip into finding the product, and then it'll take you to the live where I've talked about it and that type of stuff. So if we get our ducks in a row, we might have a non-live special sale, but no promises. It's going to be pretty much Mach 5 here for until Kafe arrives.
You can tell she's a car.
It's always Mach 5. Speed Racer, Mach 5, yes. Sorry, I just dated myself. Okay, so today what we're going to do is talk about Italy. So Liz Kettle and I just returned from a week of teaching in Italy. Do we have Liz on the screen?
Working on it.
Okay, so
yes.
Okay, hi Liz.
Oh, you're even color coordinated.
Oh no, seriously, we are.
You are.
We did not prearrange this. Liz lives in the state of Washington, so it's a little early there for her, and so we decided we got to drink coffee together. So, do you have your coffee, Liz?
I have my coffee.
She does.
And it's color
She's
coordinated.
on mute.
She's on mute.
How do I unmute?
All right. Okay, so what we've wanted to do, this is our second time that we have Artistic Artifacts has arranged an art retreat in Italy. The section of Italy that we go to is Umbria, near Tuscany. It's in that medieval, it's in a medieval town called Ischia di Castro. So we fly into Rome and take a bus out to the village.
I have to unplug the mic.
Yep.
I have to unplug the mic.
You have to unplug the mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk pretty loud.
Okay, let's try that again. Yeah,
Okay.
because she probably won't come through if the mic's on. It's got some weird audio.
Oh, that makes sense. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
the first
right.
time we've tried to do this.
And it's dark here. Like,
Oh gosh.
It's the middle of the night, isn't it?
the middle of the night.
Lewis is on too.
Lewis is on too.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Hi, Lewis. Lewis is on the East Coast, lives near me. And so Lewis is the owner of Italian Cultural Tours, which is who we partner with. So the arrangement is that we have art and we have tours. So as I said, we're in a medieval town where it's a walled city. It's on top of a hill, a mountain or whatever. So it's one of the things, there's a lot of walking when we go, and Italians are used to walking. Us, not so much. We get in our cars. But Liz and I are listening to this tour of this woman talking about, I think Farnese, where were we? I can't remember where we were, but all of a sudden she turns around, she goes, now, all of these villages are built on top of a mountain because they're easily to defend. And Liz and I looked at each other and went, oh, yeah, they are. We wondered why we were always going uphill. So it's like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what it was like to be in the village. And we will announce our dates for next year, 2023. And Liz is going to talk a little bit about our project and what we did and that creative part of it. And so that's kind of how we're going to go. Jump right in, Liz, if you have some comments that we're talking about. But that was the biggest thing for us. So Ischia di Castro does not have a train station. You have to ride a bus for an hour to get to it. So it is secluded. You are in the mountains in this beautiful medieval town. And so, yes, there's a modern part of Ischia di Castro, but we're in the, for us, it's like going to Old Town Alexandria versus being in the commercial area of Alexandria. So we stay in apartments. This is generally a summer, these are summer homes most of the time, because it is a big area that has a beautiful lake, has lots of tourists for the Italians, and food and restaurants and things that revolve around the lake. So these are apartments that are summer homes. So I don't want to say primitive, but you know, we're not staying in a 5-star hotel here. That's not the point. So we actually are in that village. We're staying in people's homes. They're not there. We're renting them. You have your privacy, but you could be at the bottom of the hill. You could be at the top of a very high staircase.
So mobility is
important. Yes. And we figured we walked anywhere from 4 to 5 miles a day. So the apartments are great. There's no air conditioning there. There's fans, but there's no air conditioning. Europeans usually don't have that as part of their home. I know Liz doesn't have air conditioning either in the state of Washington. And we go to the bar for breakfast. So when we say bar, we're thinking bar, end of the day bar, have a cocktail, go home and have dinner type of thing. But the bar, so to speak, serves the town for coffee in Danish, a sandwich, a soda, a snack, and then the cocktail also, and maybe some pizza. So the bar is on all.
Don't forget the gelato.
Gelato. Oh yes, that's right.
Gelato. The gelato.
How many pictures of gelato did we take? A lot. Gelato. Yes, that was the most important food group that we had, was gelato. Some people think it's pasta, but no. So for that is the main area, and then they do have restaurants and things. So we would get up in the morning. On a great day, we would go join Liz for stitch meditations, and then we would start our class. So our class would run 9 to 1-ish. And at that time, while you're still working on art, we bring a salad in and sandwiches, or pizza in and sandwiches, because it was just easier to keep working and eating at the same time. So we had a very relaxed lunch. Then after lunch, maybe about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we would have an outing. So, and one of the things that I absolutely loved about what Lewis found for us for outings is I always associated all of the Renaissance art and medieval art being in the churches, and that you had to go visit churches all the time. Well, okay, there is some really great art in the churches. That's who had the money. But Lewis found these absolutely fabulous places. There's the Tarot Gardens. It's outside. Google it. It's very, very amazing. These structures that you could walk in that were all mosaicked. And the artist created everything from the chicken wire frame, if that's what it was, I don't know, to the mosaics that went into it. She lived in one of the buildings. So I had no clue this existed. Then there's another one. There was a villa that we went to that was all during the Renaissance and has absolutely beautiful stone fountains and things. And then my favorite, which I know it's not supposed to be called the Monster Garden, but the Monster Garden. These stone carvings in situ that were gigantic. I mean, absolutely huge. So that was kind of art and an excursion, art and excursion. Then we would have, this way, okay. Then we would have dinner. Dinner is 8 o'clock in Europe. I know it's like that in France. I know it's like that in Italy, which is a little different than what we do here in the States. I don't know. I eat dinner between 6 and 7. Takes me 15 minutes to eat, and then I'm off to something else. Well, you eat at 8. You talk. You drink wine. You eat food. You have water, and 2 hours later, maybe you're having dessert. So again, that's a whole different way of having spending your evening. Then you
You know,
would,
I want to say something about that, Judy.
okay.
If you don't mind an interruption.
No, go.
I think it was one of the hardest things for a lot of us to get used to was that really late eating. Though I eat at 7 o'clock here in Washington because my life is crazy. But it allowed our students to really connect on a different level
Yes.
because we were going to our separate apartments at the end of the day. And I think that 2 hours at the dinner table, you know, sitting with different people, because in the classroom, you pretty much always sat in your same spot because you had your stuff there. But I think those longer dinners were such an important part of like just the whole atmosphere, getting everybody to know each other. I think it was just really a wonderful addition.
Well, and we had 15 people. So you mixed up how you sat with people at dinner. So you got to meet some people at this end and another person. So the next meal you had was, okay, well, I'm going to go sit with these other people because I haven't met them yet. You know, and then, so we found that was friendships that began and that they might plan other things at other times together. So I do agree with you. I think that was a really important part. I was just focusing on sitting still for 2 hours, which is kind of tough for me.
Good for you.
But it was beautiful. It really was nice. And the food is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Pastas and meats and salads, wines and coffees. And it just, you know, I mean, it's a luxury meal by my standards. So, but it is Italy. And you do, you know, what did we say? We found that some people who can't do gluten in the US can do gluten over there. But pretty much, and there's gluten-free products. We were finding gluten-free products at the truck stops. So we were really pretty excited about that. But there's no protein. So I don't know how you're going to eat.
So are there kitchens in the apartments so someone could have supply of their own food?
Yes, there are kitchens or cooktops. It's not, again, very different. This is a summer house. So there's a refrigerator, there's a cooktop. So we would encourage people to go grab some. There's grocery stores in the village. And as I said, there's the bar and there was a couple of restaurants. So we would encourage you that you could go to the bar for a coffee and a pastry. You could, Liz and I had eggs in the morning. So you could make any arrangements for what you wanted to do. And there was the ability to cook yourself. So yes, that was a great question. All right. So Liz, what else do you have to add about the experience? We did go to Orvieto, which is, again, it's a well-known tourist area, but it is an amazing Gothic church. It has museums to support it, and we got to do a little shopping there. So that was a lot of fun too. One thing you need to know about Italy is there's nothing except for the stone monsters engraved in stone. Everything can change. Everything, most of these places that we interacted with are family businesses. Food, it's what they bought today. So you don't know what you're eating until 8 o'clock when you sit down at the restaurant. So things are changeable and fluid on a daily basis. So we can attempt to make a schedule and give you an idea. You will always be doing art and you will be always walking. And maybe it'll be hot and you'll need water. Maybe you'll need to go sit down. Those things I can tell you for sure happened every day. But whether we eat at this restaurant or whether we go to this, go to the Tarot Garden or the Stone Monsters, well, we can get close to that. Lewis did arrange for us to have guides, in which we had very fabulous guides, very interested in the history of the area, the art part of it, all of that. So the guides were really great as well.
So a couple questions. One, I hear you saying that we need to be flexible.
Flexible, yes.
Mobile.
Yes, very mobile.
And with the guides, did they speak English? Do you need, a basic understanding of French or, I mean,
And
Italian.
We're not going to France yet.
Okay, all right. Sorry, next
Okay. No, the guides did speak English. Thank you. That's all good. Mobility, really, you do need to be comfortable. And again, this is walking on cobblestones. This is walking up hills. This is not walking flat. So I for sure miscalculate what my abilities are because I can walk on flat. That's where I am on flat. But so there's, make sure that you're walking in a pair of nice shoes, that you do have the ability to be mobile. That is a really, really big deal.
There are stairs everywhere.
There are stairs everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
It's all uphill. It's all uphill.
It's all uphill because that's where the towns are. I've been going to Italy for a number of years, but that one finally clicked. Yeah, so we're not trying to scare you. We're trying to tell you the reality of it because it actually is really hard to explain if you have never been there before. Some people say, I've traveled to Germany and France. That's okay. So you kind of have a general understanding, but you do want to make sure that you're mobile and comfortable in that. So, and I will tell you the dates after Liz talks about the project, and we did move a little bit further into September, so maybe it might be a little bit cooler and all that strenuous outdoor activity is a little easier. So Liz, why don't you talk about the project? And
all right. Well, first I want to say, like there's so much walking, and it's all uphill, but it's not fast.
No.
So it's definitely we are not race walking. So just, don't be scared, put off by the walking. You just need to practice going up and down the hills in any neighborhood you can find to prep kind of for, so that you're not miserable when you're there. It's like, I know it seems kind of silly to say you have to train for vacation, but in the US, we tend to be very sedentary and we don't walk to the grocery and the bar and everywhere. It's just really different. But that is one of the things that was so amazing about this trip is that we slowed down. We did not have a car. We could not get in the car and go anywhere. So, and we did go places in the bus, which was really wonderful to just have somebody drive us. And amazing, you don't want to drive on those streets anyway, they're so tiny. But the ability to slow down and really be present, because that's how we designed this project. When Judy and I first started talking about it, I said, I really want to be like a sense of place, like really get into the environment. And it's just brilliant the way Lewis has set it up so that we are in people's actual apartments with their art on the wall and their oilcloth tablecloth and their coffee makers, which it took me a few days to master, but we got that. It's like an old-fashioned, I forget what you call it. Lewis can probably jump in and say
mocha. It's
mocha.
a
mocha.
Yeah.
And since I got back, coffee just suddenly tastes weak here. I don't know. I keep making it stronger and stronger. But our whole idea of this art project was a sense of place, to really stop our lives for just a little bit of time and really be present in a space. A lot of times when you go on a tour, you're like, go see this thing, go see that thing, take all the pictures, and then go on to the next town and see the next thing. But we wanted a different experience where you were just really living in the village. Like every morning I would open up the shutters in the kitchen and I would see the older woman up the hill out sweeping and the cats. And it's just magical. I mean, up the hill meaning like she was right next door. It wasn't like she was far away. Everything's like on top of each other. But to be able to hear them chattering in Italian in the morning, greeting each other, and just being involved in that and feeling that we never felt like outsiders. We were so welcomed. That was also incredible. They just loved it. They would come into the classroom to visit and see what we were doing because they had no clue. We have one student, Juana, I think she's on. Hi, Wada. I hope you're watching.
Yes. Yes.
It was wonderful to have her because she's kind of a local. I mean, she lives full time in Rome, but summers in Ischia di Castro, and it was so wonderful to have her in our community to kind of help it. She kind of explained some things, like all the different colors of trash bags that they have. We're like, what color is for what? But just to have her there to talk about how she loves that area too, and show us her own artwork. That was really wonderful to have somebody local in our class, and really felt more like we were definitely in. And when somebody came in to see what we were doing, she could explain to them what we were doing. The interesting thing,
very little English in the town, very little. It's Italian. But they do their best to.
Yep. And they're learning because we've been coming over since Artistic Artifacts and Italian Cultural Tours has been coming over. The bar owner has learned some English, and the grocery store young man, he has learned some English. So that was I just felt so honored by that they would go to that trouble. I hadn't gotten much further than buongiorno and ciao.
Buongiorno, buonasera, yes.
Yeah, that's about the basic thing.
The time of the day. Most of the time I'd look up and smile and wait for them to say it, and then I would say it back to them because I would know what time it was.
Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to say now? But where was I going? Just to have them so excited that we were there and welcoming was really fabulous, and helped us feel like we were really a part of the community, even though we weren't, if that makes sense. But it's also, they were really curious because textile art is not very prominent over there. There's very little. They know a lot of painting and that sort of thing, but they just did not understand all the fabric we wrapped in rust and hung out to dry on all the rusty things in the neighborhood. And there's a lot of rust there. Oh my gosh, it's like rust heaven. So our project was really diving into a sense of place, and some of the things we did, I can show you maybe some. I know it's kind of dark in my studio. This is one of the first projects we did. It was a fabric weaving, one of my favorite techniques. It's so simple, but you can get such great results with it. And with this, we were looking at our views and reinterpreting them in stitch. It just was fun, and it was a great take-along project. So if we had a longer bus ride, we could take it and stitch on it. We did some image transfer with one of my techniques, and I've got some fun stitching in here on the side, this rusted fabric. We did some collages. We did gelatin plate monoprinting because I really wanted us to
hold it up a little bit longer, Liz.
Oh, okay, sorry,
You have a request.
Can't see my face. So maybe we like that better.
Can you show the first one again?
Yeah. So what we wanted when Judy and I started talking, we wanted people to really be looking at the environment, like with your eyes, not just through a camera, really absorbing it. Like, what is it? Like, I was there 2 days before I went, oh, look, there's windmills over there. And they showed up in my stitch meditation. So those things that you don't really see when you're just driving by, or you visit a town for an hour, you're not really quite aware of those things. But when you're there longer, you really start to absorb the feeling of it, which I just love on this one. You probably can't see it very well, but my little cobblestone stitching here and my wall stitching, I wouldn't have stitched that if I hadn't been living there. Does that make sense? Because I had to be there a while to really absorb it, and then to have that trigger, like, oh, I could use this stitch for it. It took a little bit of time. And one of my other favorite techniques that we did is this drawing on fabric and then embellishing with stitch. So this is San Francisco de Assisi. It's St. Francis's Church in Assisi. So, and that's with watercolors and Inktense pencils. And Then one of the fun things we did was rubbings.
Oh, that was really fun.
We did lots of rubbing. So so you don't finish when you're in the class with us, you don't finish your book because there's so much. Textile art takes a while, and especially when you're doing hand stitching, and you want to kind of take the time to enjoy it. But you also want to be able to add in the things that we bought along the way. Oh yeah, so we have rubbings, and this was a block printed napkin that I bought to include. And this is some block printing as well. So I'll add these in as pages. There's Judy's weaving. I love that. So
This is one
the whole, oh yeah, you're stitched olive. Kind of, we had an overarching theme of olives and olive branches, and we did get to go to an olive oil pressing facility and taste the different oils, which was just so yummy. So just being in that environment and then being able to work in the studio and record what we saw, record the colors when you're right there. When I originally started doing my samples for this class, I was working off of photos, and they were not even my photos. They were Judy's photos and Lewis's photos. So it was so different to be there. You know, you can see something in a photo and kind of copy it, but you don't get the emotion in your artwork unless you're actually there and working in the place. I think that was just the magical part of doing the workshop in Ischia di Castro, was being absorbing all of that around you, just walking on the marble and the streets being so narrow and all the beautiful, beautiful doorways. I've always loved doorways, but now I have a lot of doorway photos. So I'll be doing a whole doorway blog post.
Yep, I think we all will be. Yeah.
And the tours were so inspiring. One of the things I loved is that we went to places you wouldn't normally go to. Right. Now, Orvieto is a big tourist town, and that was lovely. And the basilica is incredible. It's just like you can't even describe it, and you can't even get a real good picture of it because it's so massive. And the artwork inside was like a history class.
All right, but hang on, we got some comments here.
Chris. Okay. So Naya says, don't forget the broccolini trees.
The broccolini.
Oh, the broccolini trees. Yes. Every time I see one of those, I think of you, Naya.
Catherine Miller says, girls, you have me crying with joy. I feel your energy. And both June, Jody, and Juana are all working on their books this week.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
And then Juana. Oh, sorry. And Juana also said it's the Assisi Church, if I pronounced that correctly.
Okay, yeah, Assisi Church. And for everyone who's been on the tour, we have a special Facebook group so that we can continue to share our work as we go forward and keep stitching on them and show everybody our work. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying before that, but
sorry.
It's all right. That's all right.
Okay, so is everybody ready for the dates? Now, for next year, we to reserve your spot in the trip for next year, you need to go email info@Italian Cultural Tours, and that's Lewis. Lewis is on the live as a participant. He is the one that works with you on the payment plan. The price is $3,495. That there are some things that it does not include. It doesn't include airfare. You will have a couple of meals on your own, snacks. You will, so you will do some shopping food wise, as well as I'm sure shopping otherwise. I know I did. And that is who you have to reserve your spot with. Liz and I are the creative part, and Lewis is the everything else.
We posted the link in the comments.
Okay,
Yep.
So the link is posted. So the dates for the next trip are September 16th through the 23rd. So what that means is that on Saturday in the afternoon, there's going to be a pickup point in Rome at some point. Lewis will take care of organizing that. You be at the pickup point. You all come to Ischia di Castro. We have a little reception in the studio, which the studio is just amazing. Location is great. And then we'll get you to your apartments and get you in. We start teaching on Sunday. So class and tours start Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we have that kind of class and tour, class and tour, class and tour. Now, Wednesday, there is a market in the town, and that Wednesday is going to be kind of your choice day. I don't want to necessarily say free day, because there is no, if you want to sit down and read a book and hang out and chill, you can do that. But you can work on your artwork, you can go to the market, you can do your laundry, you can do all those kinds of things.
The museum in town, and the museum and the cemetery, and massages.
Yes, yes, those are great. There's lots of things to do on Wednesday, but it'll be unstructured day, maybe. Also, all of that.
That's a good way to put it.
Thursday, Friday, class and tour, class and tour. Saturday morning, which I think it was 5 a.m. this time, you're on a bus going back to Rome. We ask that you do not do any excursions ahead of time, that you come directly to us. We found that you're a little too tired if you do too much ahead, and plan your excursions once you're over there afterwards. And Lewis has some history. He can give you some suggestions, and you can take care of arranging that. So those are the dates. September 16th through the 23rd. What?
Sue Carroll says that sounds like Wednesday is Introvert Recovery Day.
Oh, Introvert Recovery Day. Yes, that would be a good name for it, Sue. You can.
We had to build that in.
Yes, we wanted to make sure. We felt that we all needed that at some point in time. There is a single supplement. There is an ability to share an apartment with someone else. So that, introvert want to share. Those are the dates that are available. We will only take 15, maybe 16. That's it. It's limited to that. We will not go past that number. We do expect it to sell out fairly quickly. So we would love to have you join us. We would love to have you come with myself and Liz and Lewis on this wonderful cultural tour of Italy. So are there any other questions? We okay?
There was one question and Lewis answered it.
Okay.
And it was, are you going to the same places? And he said some old and some new.
Correct. Right. Right. We're trying to stay within an hour, max 2 hours of Ischia. So we've tried some long distance tours, and it's just a little too hard. We're happy to tell you about them after, and you can go on your own. Lots of people went to Florence, lots of people went to Rome after the trip. You're over there. So if you have the ability to do that, tack some extra tours and things on the end, we're happy. But yes, we will be changing it up a little bit. So
Juana has commented a few things. She said it was an incredible experience, and Ischia di Castro was delighted, and they've missed you when everybody left. And she said she misses you every time she walks by the studio.
Oh, miss you too, Juana.
It was absolutely wonderful. We missed you too. It was. There's lots of stories. I know I have not posted nearly all my pictures. That has to do with technology. So we will try to keep posting some more.
Time has an issue.
Time, yeah. So, all right. So I guess we're gonna sign off. Lewis, stand by your computer. You're gonna get a bunch of emails. And we look forward to those who are going to join us on our trip next time. And thank you to those who joined us last time. It was really wonderful. We really enjoyed it. So
half the fun is all the students.
Yes, we learned so much. It's we as teachers, we learn a lot, and it helps. It just helps our lives to grow and be part of that community. So
absolutely.
Thank you. The store's open. We got to get to the sales floor. Please email.
Class coming in.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we have a class coming in. Oops.
All right, gotta go. Thank you, Liz, for joining us.
The sun's starting to come up.
All right, we'll post more. Take care. Thanks again. Enjoy
Bye,
your
everybody. Thanks for joining us.